Hi, I'm Sleepy. And Dr. Mario is a funny character. He's one of the least interesting clone characters from Melee. His home series, Dr. Mario, started as an obscure Mario spin-off on the NES that nobody really cared about at first. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a fun game, but the gameplay boils down to just another Tetris clone. A dime-a-dozen puzzle game and a franchise with 100 better spin-offs to play. So how do you think he got into Smash? Ahem. Point of view. You are Masahiro Sakurai. Your programmers say they can add a Mario clone before the game releases, so you start thinking of Mario characters that share his body type. One of the programmers suggests Form and Spike, another one asks for Jumpman, someone chimes in with Tanuki Mario, and you shut them all down and win them over in an instant. What about Mario with student loan debt? And pow! It was decided. True story, by the way, I was there. Adding Dr. Mario is one of Sakurai's silliest ideas, but despite all the trash I just talked on him, I still love him and I hope he never leaves again. I tend to be harsh to characters I'm redesigning, but I'm not one of the people that actually hates Dr. Mario. Some people see him as having no more potential than a costume, but if you look closely, Dr. Mario is much more than meets the eye. This medical menace has potential for representing the block puzzle genre, a genre that sounds niche until you remember how much money it makes. But the current Doctor just isn't being used right. Doc Maro was designed as a slower and stronger Maro. Why did they decide that, besides gameplay reasons? I don't know. There's no visual indication that Dr. Mario is physically different from Mario, unless that coat weighs like 1,000 pounds. So it doesn't make sense for Mario to move like a snail and sink like a rock as soon as he becomes a doctor. It wasn't as much the case in Melee, but Dr. M doesn't feel much slower in most scenarios, so he's literally just a stronger Mario. That's not good either. Ever since his reintroduction in Smash 4, they wanted to make him feel more different. So they completely trashed his movement speed and recovery. Reasonable solution. He's so unbelievably bad that it's almost daunting to turn him into a top tier. How do you even do that? But I know what you're thinking. We all know how to make him top tier. Top tier Mario is already in the game. You want a list of things Doc needs to get fixed before he's viable? Alright, he has one of the worst recoveries in the game. He lacks decent combos of movement. His already awful range combined with low speed makes his effective range a literal foot, and to add insult to injury, he's not any heavier than Mario, so he dies super early. He's a downgrade to Mario in almost every way! Everyone knows he'd be good if he was fast, but he'd also be pointless. And that would just prove the Dr. Mario haters right. Well, screw that! He's not just a costume. I don't want to make the two feel the same like in Melee. As a matter of fact, I wanted more separation between the two to make crystal clear that Dr. Mario isn't perceived as just Mario in a coat. Even though he technically is, but what I meant is that, oh, whatever. Reality is whatever I want it to be, which is why I wrote a brand new Mario headcanon to fit my agenda. That's right, on this channel we even redesigned the lore. Dr. Mario is a much older version of Mario. Dr. Mario is 50, which gives him a 24-year time gap in between where he could have practiced and perfected medicine. I have essentially crafted Grandpa Mario. His hair has turned gray and he grew his mustache out more. A heavier gut shows that he's kinda let himself go. He's got faint wrinkles on his face and he even looks a little shorter now. He looks pretty dang old for 50, I guess he just ages horrendously. Just joking. It's actually because I recently aged him down from 68 to 50 to fit in with official Mario lore. You see, I thought I was creating a new headcanon, but while researching this video, I found out that in a special chapter of Super Mario Manga Mania, Dr. Mario appears out of nowhere and cures Super Mario of his depression. That might lead you to think they are separate people. But no, Dr. Mario says he traveled back in time to help him. So add that to your list of awesome Mario and Luigi facts. Dr. Mario is a 50-year-old time wizard who can cure depression. Mario has the best lore. But sadly, he's not nearly as cool in the games. I'd like to give him an actual backstory now so he has a reason to exist. People make jokes about how Mario is a bad doctor and he doesn't actually like helping people, and that comes down to his bizarre representation in Smash. I'm assuming Sakurai just wants Dr. Mario to be a part-time job, one of Mario's many wacky odd jobs that he works and quits on a whim. And it comes across like Mario doesn't care about being a doctor much. The Dr. Mario in Smash shows little to no emotion and comes across as cold. Why did he become less happy as a doctor? Does he actually hate his job? We don't know. So, as a result, fans perceive him more or less as a more pissed off Mario, which is admittedly funny, but it's a bit cynical for Mario, don't you think? He's an idealistic type of character, so I think it would fit his character better if, instead of getting less jolly with age, he became more jolly. The human body's inevitable decay doesn't make this guy grumpy and cynical. He's always happy and carefree. As for why Mario became a doctor, it makes total sense now. Eventually, time will catch up to Mario and he won't be able to jump and flip around to save people. So, he decides to go back to school and help people in a less physically demanding way. It's a wholesome Mario headcanon that fits with his image. And it certainly makes me feel better than the popular story Nintendo runs where Mario faked his diploma. 'Cause yeah, that's what heroes do, you know, they skip the process, they forge medical licenses in order to get Toads addicted to the fucking opium for profit.
Mark up those prices, man! I don't care if your life depends on it! I want my money!
Moving away from Big Pharma Mario, I mentioned that I wanted to differentiate him from classic Mario. In stark contrast from Mario, who I gave one of the best recoveries in the game, the good doctor doesn't stack up at all. But even if his recovery is supposed to be utter trash, unless he gets some airspeed, nothing I do will matter to help him, and he physically can't be top tier. So, Dr. Mario has the same airspeed as Mario, and he's noticeably floatier. He's got lower fall speed to help drift back to stage, and he has access to the new air stall I gave Mario in my first redesign. In fact, to help remedy his awful recovery distance, his air stall is better than Mario's and makes him float up a bit. He can use any recovery mix-ups he can get. Normal Mario's variety of specials gave him one of the best recoveries in the whole game, whereas Dr. Mario pretty much only has up B and down B. His knees don't bend as well at his age, so his ground jump is lower. Thankfully, his double jump isn't any worse. Dr. Mario's air acceleration is incredible. He can drift and change directions super well, and although he falls slowly, he doesn't get as juggled as easily as most floaties. He can land quite easily because his fast fall will increase his fall speed by 100%. He would be given the best fast fall in the series. I chose to do this to emulate how Mario controls the pills in Dr. Mario. This fast fall makes sure that he's not getting juggled like one of his pills. In fact, that's also one of his specialties. His vertical kill power is very impressive. He doesn't ladder combo you nearly as well as Mario, but sometimes raw power is better. Isn't it fitting that Dr. Mario is good at juggling you and slowly inching you towards the top blast zone like your opponent is losing a round of Tetris? But he needs more than that to become viable. He needs some defense. It just so happens that Doc has put on some pounds in his silver years. Too much pasta will do that. So now he's heavier than Mario. He's in the same weight category as Captain Falcon and Yoshi. Now he's a heavyweight Mario that actually gets some of the benefits of a heavy. I'd really like to fix up Dr. Mario's presentation so that he's more interesting. He's one of the most boring looking characters in the game. Several of his costumes have been modified so that Mario is wearing more proper equipment, including rubber gloves and a surgeon's mask. Very considerate and appropriate for the current state of the world. He has a new idle animation where he dusts off his hands. Another idle animation has him take Wii Fit Trainer's advice and stretch his back. Side taunt, the pill toss, becomes up taunt again like in Melee. The taunts where he pats his shoulder and grinds his shoe are replaced because they were not very good. His new side taunt has him take out a lollipop and hold it out for you. I want the taunt to be pretty unsafe, so before he takes out the lollipop, he says, "You were a super, take one." If he's attacked or cancels it, he drops it on the ground as a food item. His new down taunt has him use a thermometer on himself. The mercury shoots straight out the top and bursts into flames as if he's saying, "I'm hot," or "I'm on fire." There's a tiny little hitbox on the thermometer when it bursts into flames, just for fun. I added a new victory animation, where an ambulance Yoshi runs towards Dr. Mario to help an injured Toad. And finally, there's a context change to an existing victory animation. Now he's chasing 3 viruses and then swiftly dispatches them with pills. That's a lot of aesthetic redesigns compared to usual, but it adds some much needed charm to him. So, sorry for taking my time, but I'm ready to show the grounded normals.
¿Es la influencia una amenaza para mí y mi familia? ¿Cuáles son los síntomas? ¿Cómo hacer para evitarla?
Jab is a good combo starter now. Jab 3 sends up and has more hitstun than usual. It's fantastic for setting up juggles and combos. But if you need a jab that sends forward, you're in luck. He now has a rapid jab too. He delivers a quick series of palm strikes holding his stethoscope. F-tilt has more active frames. He just sort of holds his leg out longer than Mario. It gets stronger near the end, like Nair, where it kills pretty early. Up tilt is much stronger. Up tilt works like K-Rules. The early hitbox sends people forward, and the late hitbox sends straight up. The late hitbox functions a bit like his down tilt. Late up tilt has poor knockback, but such ridiculously long hitstun that most characters only get out of hitstun when they touch the floor. Up tilt strings are even longer than Smash 4 Mario, if you can imagine that. Since up tilt now serves that function, down tilt goes back to the Melee version with that funky angle. Down tilt sends opponents behind Dr. Mario. Dash attack has more knockback and hitstun, which lets him start juggling sooner and even killing at high percent. F smash is new. Doc charges up his defibrillators and thrusts them both forward to attack. It has more startup and less end lag. It has tons of hit lag and knockback, so it's safer on shield. Up smash violates the Geneva Convention by utilizing biological warfare, which is to say that Dr. Mario goes and throws a virus at you. Less exciting when you put it like that, but despite how harmless this virus looks, I assure you it is a war crime. He tosses the blue virus right above his head and it disappears after a few flips. This up smash is similar to Olimar's, but in spite of how easy it is to spam, it's also super powerful too, so it's pretty broken. Up smash will give the opponents the chills, or more accurately, it literally freezes them solid. It's good for combos at low percent, but has too much knockback to combo later. It does kill really well though. Down smash also uses the virus. It's similar to Pac-Man's down smash. He takes them out of his coat and shoves the red virus in front of him and the yellow one behind him. Red virus increases their body temperature by like, a lot, and they're on fire. It sends them straight up. He shoves the yellow one behind him and the yellow one does something tiny and hard to see. Just like his name suggests, the yellow virus's ability can only be classified as weirdness. Something this unpredictable and hard to study is dangerous. This virus is capable of morphing its host into different shapes and sizes, so when hit by the back hit of down smash, you have a chance to change size. There's a 50% chance they become small, and a 5% chance they become giant. This small effect is obviously more useful, but the opponent becoming big also makes them easier to hit, so it's not so bad. Grab has a new animation, where he reaches out to grab you with his stethoscope in hand. It's not a tether because it's still only as long as his arm can grab. When he grabs you, he restrains you and prepares to check your blood pressure, which is his new pummel. It's pretty fast, but not that damaging. Up throw has more startup, so it's easy to DI. Up throw has low base knockback for combos at low percent, but high growth to kill. Back throw has a bit more growth too. Forward throw is very special. It's one of the weirdest ideas I've thought of for a throw. Mario straps the opponent to a stretcher and then pushes them forward a short distance. As they roll forward, Mario can follow them and wait for them to pop out into an attack. This stretcher is very unique among throws because the throw summons an object with physics. It follows gravity, so if Dr. Mario forward throws you off the ledge, you'll start tumbling off a cliff in a stretcher. It can't be mashed out of either, so it's not just a fancy berry throw. Instead, it will always restrain them for 1 full second. This is my new favorite throw in the game, so I hope you're excited for what his aerials can do, because he has one of the coolest sets of aerials in the entire game too. To start out, Nair has more damage and knockback. It's a weird move already, but I made it extra odd. The very latest hitbox is equal to Ganondorf's Nair in power. The odd part is that Nair sends in the opposite direction Doc is facing. So if you want to edgeguard someone with Nair, you should turn around before jumping like you're gonna back air them. Nair has a bigger hitbox now behind him to help out with that. Fair is broken, and will be the reason 90% of Doc mains would play him. It doesn't spike, but it's generally so much better than Mario's. It has a couple more startup frames, and the sour spot is weaker, but the drastically reduced end lag makes up for it. The flip Dr. Mario does in the end lag animation was completely cut, making forward air end nearly 20 frames sooner. An absurd frame data buff to make him that much scarier up close. Fair also has more shield damage and a landing hitbox like the new Mario, so it's really easy to get shield poked by it. The sour spot of Fair sends straight up now on top of being weaker, so it'll likely kill later than you want it to. The sweet spot of Fair is much stronger though. It can deal up to 28%. The animation now shows him holding a pill in his hand when he punches. It's easy to tell when you get the sweet spot because it makes the pill sound. Next, I decided to change up air because it's a bit difficult for a 50-year-old man to do a backflip. The new up air has mediocre speed and damage as well as low hit stun. He pulls out a reflex hammer and swings it in an arc above him. You all know that tool doctors use to hit your knee and force a reaction? Well, what makes up air special is its unique property of checking reflexes. When Mario hits you with this hammer, you're forced to use your double jump immediately. Characters without multiple jumps are put into a very tricky situation where Dr. Mario has almost complete control over whether or not you can make it back to the ground. It doesn't really excel in any area like speed or range, but its special property turns it into one of the most unique and useful juggling tools in the game. Back air is another pretty special move. I removed Dr. Mario's cape side special and assigned it to back air. A weird idea for sure, but I'm low-key in love with it. Dr. Mario swings the bed sheets behind him to reflect stuff. It deals 12% damage and has much better frame data to fit the role of an aerial. It also turns him around much like Marth's bear. It's even useful as a mix-up combo starter into Fair, because it now sends them up on top of reversing any momentum they had. Down air has less landing lag and a bigger hitbox. Dare's spike hitbox covers Mario's entire body. It's just a big-ass rectangle, a literal hitting box. Dare's startup was also cut nearly in half. It lingers now, staying active for a few extra frames. All those minor buffs make for a good spike. But I also wanted it to be as unique as the other aerials, so it received a name and visual upgrade. I call it the stepping scale. Mario can check your weight by stepping on you like a scale. Not exactly the way scales work, but he's the one that gets the results. I'm not the one holding the paycheck. If the stomp is strong enough to kill, it will trigger a special zoom where it will now display the opposing character's exact weight near Mario. It's pretty stylish, huh? I'd say he has a very impressive set of new aerials, and I'm not ready to slow down with the specials, so let's hurry up.
Hurry up! Hurry up!
First, we'll get Shield Special out of the way, since it's obvious that he'd have one. Mario had one, I gave him the spin. Dr. Mario gets a bigger, stronger spin that doesn't reflect projectiles. Really, that's it for Shield B. Now here we are at Neutral B, his signature move, the Pill. Now the Pill is one of Dr. Mario's best moves, and for a simple reason. It has pretty low end lag. Now, if you've ever fought against a Dr. Mario, they probably spent the whole match prescribing you pills. Because you can just run over, you can throw out a neutral B, and you can pressure people with the pill. It's a really strong option in neutral, and it makes it one of the game's best projectiles in the whole game, period, like, at all. The pills are great. Because it's a simple reason, but low end lag can really make the difference between a good move and a bad move. And it's a good move. Like I mentioned while overdosing on mega vitamins, you can throw a pill and then run over to where it's bouncing to combo from it. But I thought it would be a lot of fun if you could then recycle the pills. Obviously a bit dubious from a sanitation standpoint.
Hold it for me.
You dropped your cigarette.
Damn, it's Corona. I don't want this one, my nigga. Give me one more. What?
But awesome from a gameplay standpoint. Pills will now bounce off an opponent's shield, giving you a chance to re-grab them and use them as items. Keep in mind that they can only be recycled if it hits a shield. If it actually connects, then the pill disappears like normal. To accompany the pills, there's now a unique UI change near his character portrait that shows you what his next pill color will be. It's pretty cool that he gets to use the exact mechanic from his own game, but if all the pills are the same, it's not much help. So, now there's two main types. Grabbing a combination pill heals you for exactly 10% when it bounces off a shield. The solid colored pills have special effects that fit the theme of common prescription drugs. When they bounce off shield, you can hold it like Link's bomb. Solid blue is a sleeping pill. It doesn't work right away though, cause that's pretty broken. Instead, it puts you to sleep a moment after you're hit by it. That way, you can just jump to avoid falling asleep. Red is poisonous. It deals minor poison damage. Yellow is... I don't know. Shock doesn't make any sense. How about... Yellow is Viagra. It gives them an uncontrollable 8-hour erection. No? Well, how about it weakens their immune system and they take double damage from virus attacks for 30 seconds. Boom! Neutral B done. Side B isn't the cape anymore because that's his back air. Instead, I needed to give him a movement option and recovery option because currently his mobility is, well, what you'd expect of a fat 50-year-old man. But he can't dive like Mario, so how does he get around? Does he use a Walmart scooter? No, don't be ridiculous. He rides around on a stretcher like a kid trying to surf. The stretcher returns from forward throw as his new side B. It's very similar to Steve's minecart. He rides forward ramming into people and can jump off to recover. When he jumps off, it still has a hitbox, but unfortunately it doesn't grab people. Side B has a light and heavy version. When tapped, he hops on the stretcher and surfs forward, and when held, instead of hopping on, he shoves the stretcher forward as hard as he can. The heavy version can actually grab people out of the air and serves as an extra projectile. The heavy version restrains for an extra second, but has more startup. Up B doesn't have much landing lag. That's nice. Up B can be cancelled into wall jump like Mario. That's nice. And more significantly, Dr. Mario's strong hit doesn't happen at the beginning of the move anymore, now it happens at the end. It mimics the properties of his Nair instead of just copying Luigi's jump punch. The ending hitbox is huge and snaps to ledge from really far away. That's nice to have since the ledge grab range was universally reduced. If they DI up after down tilt, you can combo into it. The new down B is really cool, but probably solidifies him as the character with the worst recovery in the game. Tornado is gone. It's why I gave him a ton of buffs to alleviate this nerf, but losing Tornado would still really sting. On the bright side, he has a cool new move. Down B completely stops your momentum midair and lets you float in place. It gives you an opportunity to choose one of 8 directions. In each direction, you can set up a line of viruses that deal minor damage on contact. It sticks around and acts as a dangerous wall. They take hits for you and reflect projectiles, but they aren't exactly on Dr. Mario's side. They can hurt Dr. Mario too if he touches them. Why is that a good thing? Well, aside from being a super good trap and denying access to the ledge and letting you stall off stage and interacting with neutral B, oh yeah, it interacts with neutral B. The viruses will always be a solid color, so if you hit them with a corresponding colored pill, you can cause a powerful explosion that Dr. Mario is immune to. You can kill the row of viruses with any attack if it's strong enough, actually, but you should probably not do that because you will probably get hit by the explosion, unless you have like Sephiroth's sword. Mixed/half colors will still pop the viruses. It doesn't matter which side that falls on the virus, it still just kills it like a solid color. The explosion's effect depends on the virus color, which are pretty much the same as his smash attacks, except yellow, which now simply spikes people instead of being random as a balance precaution. The row of viruses always show up in a random color, so you'll just have to work with what you get. But the last and coolest part is that it can be activated with Doc's forward air. It seems expected, you know? It's a pill move, so it makes sense. But it has some sick implications. That means the color effects of neutral B appear here as well. On top of having amazing power, forward air can burn, freeze, and spike you. It's so definitively better than Mario's Fair that I'm considering a retcon to make Mario's dunk exclusive to Doc and give Mario the air kick from Mario 64. But that's in the past. The pill in Mario's hand will take up the spot of whatever the next color neutral B's UI shows. So, you do actually know which effect you're gonna get ahead of time, making this move all the more smart and powerful. And the final smash is so obvious, it's a crime it wasn't added. Dr. Mario's final smash makes him drop giant pills from the top of the screen. You can rotate them and press down to drop them faster, just like in Dr. Mario. This attack is one of the stronger final smashes in the game because of its slow speed and high precision. Keep in mind, you should still be trying to match up the pill colors, because at the end of the move, all the matches made will result in a large, but biologically safe, explosion. It has a fast meter charge rate and a poor retention of 10 seconds. Wow, I feel great after finishing this moveset. It took me way longer than it reasonably should have, and so I apologize for that. I feel guilty too, because we've just passed 300 subscribers, and I haven't uploaded in forever. But hopefully the wait was worth it. At least I'm proud of it, and I think it's creative. But that's not really my place to decide. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I've already taken too much of your time, so go on and get some rest. Good night.